Identifying ducks can be fun and challenging. Some species are just really similar looking, or you might be far away and can't see much detail. Or the lighting can create shadows and alter colors. Let's get into 3 look-alike ducks: the greater scaup, lesser scaup, and ringneck duck. I'll point out some key features to look for to make your identification easier, and at the end, I'll give you a simplified checklist to sum it all up. If you're not sure if you're looking at a scaup or a ringneck, the first thing to do is to look at the bill. The ringneck duck's bill gives it away. A male in breeding plumage has 2 white rings on its bill, one at the base and another towards the end. Notice also that the tip has a good amount of black. The female also has a ring around the bill, but just one towards the end. Compare that to the greater and lesser scaup, who are also known as bluebills. Both greater and lesser males have a light blue bill with black on the nail. The nail is the bump or slightly pointed part at the very tip, used when digging for food. In scaup females, the blue is darker than the males and is a mixture of blue and charcoal black. Some have more blue, some have less, and its arrangement differs from one bird to another. And as a side note, if you're wondering why the ringneck duck is called that instead of the ring-billed duck, it's because it has a chestnut brown ring around its neck, which is often difficult to see. Next is the head shape. Ringnecks and lesser scaup have a slightly peaked head, like a wannabe crest. Compare this to the head of the greater scaup, which is rounded. Another way to think of it is this. If the high point of the crown is behind the eye, it's a lesser scaup or ringneck. If the high point is above or in front of the eye, it's a greater scaup. Now let's take a look at just the greater and lesser scaup, which are almost identical for both males and females. The nail on the bill provides a big clue. In a greater scaup, the black extends beyond the nail and spreads out, whereas in the lesser scaup, it's much smaller. It's nice and neat and confined to just the nail. Females of all 3 species have varying amounts of white at the base of the bill. Typically, greater scaup have the most, lesser scaup have a little less, and ringnecks have light white shading or none at all. But the female ringneck duck has a white eye ring, which the scaup do not have. So if you see that, you know right away that it's a ringneck duck. Also, the female greater scaup has a white ear patch. Some have more and some have just a little. Lesser scaup don't have this, and instead have a rich brown coloring throughout. So this can be really helpful in determining which scaup you're looking at. If we look at the back and flanks, we can get more insight into which duck we're looking at. Ringneck duck males have a solid black back, whereas scaup males have fine barring. As for differentiating between both scaup, well, they look very similar, but greater scaup males have slightly brighter white flanks than the lesser. And for females, they are both brown overall. So in this case, looking at the shape of the head is a much easier and clearer indicator of the species. Lastly, if you see them taking off or flapping their wings, there are a couple of differences, though this is a bit tricky as well. In greater scaup, the secondary feathers are white, slowly transitioning to brown through the primaries, like a color gradient. In lesser scaup, the secondaries are white and then the primaries are brown. The color transition here is more abrupt and less gradual than the greater scaup. The ringneck duck also has the color gradient going on, but its black back rules out any question of it being either scaup. Here's a simplified sum up. Look at the bill to determine if it's a ringneck or a scaup. If it has a ring or rings around the bill, it's a ringneck. If not, you know that it's one of the 2 scaup. Then look at the head. If it's peaked, it's a lesser scaup. If not, it's a greater. If it's still hard to tell, then go through the other finer points we discussed. The nail size, presence of an eye ring or ear patch, back, flank, and wing colors. Of course, this is assuming you have all 3 in your area. I hope this helped and gave you some tips you can use in the field. What are the features you use to differentiate between these three ducks? Feel free to share what works for you in the comments down below. Thank you for watching. That's all for this time. I'll see you again soon.